The event of the day today was the terrorist attack by a group of Chechen gunmen on the city of Budionnovsk in the Stavropol Rim area, seizing the administrative building and tens of hostages. Some employees of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, as well as the civilians population, were killed. Involved in the attack on Budionnovsk were around 100 armed bandits. At 12:30, two Kamaz trucks burst into the city. The criminals launched an attack to immediately capture the regional division of the militia, the employees of which managed to deflect the attack. Later, the terrorists, concentrated in groups of 5 to 6, began sniping at the completely unaware citizens on the streets of the city, seized vehicles and set fire to homes. Also on the streets of Budionnovsk, they staged a veritable human hunt, running people over with cars that they had commandeered. The criminals established on the roof of a burning building a high-caliber machine gun and opened fire onto adjacent streets, not giving fire crews a chance to fight fires. A second machine gun was set up by the criminals on the roof of the city hospital, which they seized, and threatening to annihilate the 60 patients and medical personnel in the clinic. The fact that there's a multitude of hostages from various sources, they could be from 50 to 200 people, complicates militia's efforts to launch a full-scale operation to completely disarm the terrorists. The criminals who seized hostages from among the local population as evening fell began to retreat in groups from Budionnovsk. The routes out of the city passed through remote villages of the Budionnovsk region of Stavropol in the direction of the administrative border with Chechnya. Receding from the city, the terrorists said that they conducted this particularly brutal operation with the demand that Russian authorities immediately cease all combat operations in Chechnya and withdraw federal forces from that republic. Previously, ITR-TASS, from informed sources in Moscow, learned that the intended purpose of the barbaric onslaught on the steppe village for the terrorists was to blow up the polymer materials plant located in Budionnovsk and cause an environmental disaster in the area. The onslaught was meticulously planned. According to Interfax, during the storming by a group of terrorists of the Division of Internal Affairs in Budionnovsk, the head of the criminal militia of the city and 5 district inspectors were killed. The services of law and order have captured 8 terrorists, 2 of whom are Chechens. The nationalities of the rest of them is being verified. As a correspondent of Interfax reports from the site of occurrence on the square in the center of the city, dead persons lie as a result of the terrorist attack. There are also casualties among the gunmen who attacked the city. The number of casualties is being specified. According to eyewitness accounts of residents, the number of those killed or injured on the central square of the city and adjacent blocks is numbered in the dozens. To aid those who suffered at the hands of the Chechen terrorists, to Budionnovsk, dispatched on a helicopter, was a group of medics from the Rim Center, ITR-TASS reports. Boris Yeltsin is carefully following developments of events in the city of Budionnovsk. He's deeply concerned over the terrorist act by Chechen gunmen in the Stavropol Rim area, resulting in the deaths and hostage takings in violation of constitutional order. Interfax was told by the president's press secretary, Sergei Medvedev. The president is disturbed that this tragic incident was at all possible, the press secretary emphasized, and added that Boris Yeltsin instructed the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Federal Security Services, and other departments to undertake all necessary measures to restore constitutional legality and law and order in the area of the terrorist act, and also immediately to free the hostages and aid all the victims. The president also instructed experts to urgently prepare for him a special report on the situation around Budionnovsk, the press secretary, the head of state, reported. With the clearing of Shatoy, the last phase of the mountain war in Chechnya has ended. This populated point was the last of the 12 regional centers of Chechnya to be freed by federal forces. In an interview to Interfax, this was stated today by the commander of the forces of the Northern Caucasus Military District, Colonel General Anatoly Kvashnin. We filmed these clips in the regional center of Nozha-Yurt, and at 17:40, the commander of the force of the Ministry of Defense, the Lieutenant General Gennady Trushev, said that the operation was completed in the Shatoy direction as well. Hence, one may say that the combat activities with the involvement of large units of forces are now behind. The remaining small subdivisions of Aslan Maskhadov, who currently is taking cover on the mountain ridges after taking the regional centers of Nozha-Yurt and Shatoy, are blockaded by an eastern contingent of federal forces. Do you observe any movement of equipment? No, not yet. So stand on guard and wait. They don't observe it, but it's appearing now for the second time. For 3 years, over the building of the prefecture Nozha-Yurt region, the Russian flag didn't fly. Today, the military servicemen of the Special Brigade Vitis, which was first to enter the city, raised the flag over the usual site. And today in Nojayurt, the new head of the administration of the region arrived. The main thing now is to encourage and inform the residents that they should return to their homes, settle in and repair them. During the storming of Nojayurt and at access routes to Chatoy, 6 military servicemen were killed and 25 injured of the joint contingent of federal forces, Itartas learned today from military sources. According to the command of the Joint Federal Forces in Chechnya, what remains of the unlawful Dudayev formations after the fall of the villages Chatoy and Nojayurt may conditionally be divided into 4 groups. As Interfax was told by the representative of the command, the remaining groups are based south of Chatoy in the Dargo Gorge in the Chatoy region, where Aslan Maskhatov is ostensibly hiding, near Nojayurt and on the Chechen-Ingushetian border near the high mountain village of Bamut. Jahar Dudayev today in an interview to Itartas admitted that the populated points of Chatoy and Nojayurt were taken under the control by federal forces. However, according to him, the battle has not yet ended. It's simply acquiring new forms. In a telephone conversation with an Itartas correspondent, Dudayev refuted yesterday's reports about his wounding. He also refused to comment on the tactics of the further actions of the armed formations loyal to him. The search for Jahar Dudayev and the head of the staff of the Chechen Armed Forces, Aslan Maskhatov, continued today, Interfax was told by a representative of the Joint Command of the Federal Forces in Chechnya. According to him, the search is conducted by a special subdivision from the federal contingent. However, there is no reliable information on the fate of Dudayev or Maskhatov yet received. We just received video material about the development of events in the city of Budionnovsk. 14:15, that was the time the news agency receives the first alarming reports. The city of Budionnovsk in Stavropol Rim area, a group of terrorists seized the center of city communications and is holding the personnel hostage. At 16:20, details of the attack on the city are clarified. The city communications hub is seized, the city administrative building, the regional department of internal affairs. In the city, shooting is heard. The number and origin of the terrorists is not established. At 17:05, according to certain eyewitnesses, local residents, they saw 2 KAMAZ trucks entering Budionnovsk with around 40 passengers. The regional hospital was blockaded. At 17:20, information from the commander of the Joint Contingent of Forces in Chechnya is received by the news agency, General Kulikov. We, for now, don't know what type of criminals these are, but a group of criminals, more than 20 people in the city of Budionnovsk, the Stavropol Rim area, attempted to seize the administrative building and take hostages. Currently, an operation is being organized at these very hours and moments. Additional forces are being dispatched there. 19:31, the news is confirmed. Terrorists are holding 2 or 3 points in the city of Budionnovsk and holding hostages. Demands are not being presented. In the center of the city and adjacent blocks, 15 bodies were picked up, among them residents of the city and terrorists. To the hospital, 40 kilometers from Budionnovsk in the city of Blagodarny, 13 injured were sent, 8 more people sent to the hospital of Zilnikovsk. Each moment, the news agency awaits for new information and details. Moscow time is 21:15. Here's what was learned at this hour about the tragedy in Budionnovsk. The terrorists, who were dressed in militia uniforms and escorted by militia vehicles, this was the factor which distracted the vigilance of the internal forces posts, penetrated the territory of the Rim from Chechnya. When they found themselves in Budionnovsk, they split into 2 groups and simultaneously attacked the aviation town and the building of the administrative center. Currently, on the streets of the city, cars are on fire and several buildings next to which there was real live combat underway. The gunmen blew up a commuter bus. There are casualties among the local population. Also, 5 militia have died and the head of the local isolation unit. The gunmen have also destroyed 1 combat transport vehicle. The regiment of special designation currently is monitoring the terrorists who are covering themselves up with hostages. Some of the terrorists have been annihilated, and we have just now learned that the criminals have seized a Gas 66 automobile and together with a large group of hostages are traveling toward Mineral Waters. The Mineral Waters airport has been blockaded.